know about you, but I don't love to admit when I'm wrong or when I'm totally messed something up. But today I'm going to share with you the 5 ways that I messed up my very first digital course so you don't make the same mistakes that I did. So let's get right to it. Hey y'all, Crystal here today, and if you have been around for a while, then you know that I love to talk about podcasting, but recently I've been sharing more videos about how you can monetize your podcast using a digital course. Now, it makes life a lot easier if you have been podcasting for a while and you can use the content that you've already created and pivot that into digital course content, but it doesn't mean that you cannot get started on day one thinking about how you could create a digital course from the content that you are creating. So I just wanted to throw that out there, that this isn't just for seasoned podcasters. If you are brand new to podcasting, I want you to start thinking about these ideas now so you can go ahead and implement a strategy to monetize your podcast in the future. Okay, so that is my disclaimer. Now, I want to dive into the 5 ways that I totally messed up the first time I created my digital course. Number 1, I priced my course way too low. Now, there are a lot of psychological things that go into pricing things and money and how we perceive value based on what something costs, but I priced my very first course at $38. And I try to do the whole cutesy thing, like, oh, it's actually $98, but I put a slash through it and said, for a limited time, only $38. But then I quickly realized, oh, no one really saw any value in that. They were like, this is only $38. Is it actually going to get me results? And I'll just be honest, I wasn't even really sure. It was the first time I had ever created a course, and I was the only one that had gotten results from my strategies and my processes. So I was a little nervous on whether this would actually deliver results for someone else too. So that was mistake number 1, where I totally messed up, is I priced everything too low because I wasn't confident enough in myself, in my strategies, and in my processes for my digital course. So I don't want you to make that same mistake as well. The second way I messed up in my digital course creation journey was I had way too many mentors in my head. Way too many voices, okay? I had people telling me, well, you need to do it this way, and have you tried it this way? It's kind of like having the shiny object syndrome all the time. I had different voices coming at me saying, no, you can't do it that way. And somebody else coming at me saying, yes, you must do it this way. So I am so glad that I settled on listening to one voice in my head when it comes to creating digital courses, and that is my mentor, Amy Porterfield. Now, I created a recent video, you can check it out right here, all about how Amy has taught me so many things about online marketing and digital course creation. And I actually have a fun video right here that I really want you to check out. It's a conversation that Amy and I had about how she is my mentor and the things that she's taught me. But I want you to focus in on 1 or 2 mentors to help you in your digital course creation journey as well. And I'm just going to throw it out there because I'm a little biased. I think that you should only listen to Amy Porterfield because her strategies and her processes are proven and they get results. I am living proof of that. I have gotten really cool results from Amy's courses, so I'm gonna highly recommend you check them out. So I'm gonna link below to the video that Amy and I did together, as well as some of her awesome resources. The third way I messed up when I created my first digital course was I tried to bootstrap everything. So if you're not familiar with the term bootstrap, basically I tried to piece together all the things that I thought needed to work in the cheapest way possible. Okay, like I have referred to myself as the cheapest person alive. Okay.
And so I love what you told your husband. You said something about did you say you're the cheapest person you know, or what was that? What did you tell me?
So I'm the cheapest person alive, like alive. Like I watch every single penny. And it is no joke. Like I don't like to waste money. I don't like to spend money on things that are too extravagant or that won't actually get me the results that I'm looking for. But in the beginning, I think that you should be very scrappy. You don't need fancy equipment to record your course. You don't need to have the most expensive platform out there. But I will say that there are certain places where you should spend a little money and rely on programs and systems that are proven to work. For example, whenever I first started, I launched with webinars for one of my course launches, and I used YouTube Live when I had no business doing that because I had no idea what I was doing. It took me 10 times longer to do my webinars that way than if I would have just relied on a webinar service like Demio. You can find more information about Demio below in the video description, but this is actually a webinar software. That's what it was created for, and it works like a charm every single time. It's super easy to use, and what I did was a very like patchwork thing that literally took me hours and hours to set up, to create the webinar, and to do all the things. And whenever it was go time, I literally just crossed my fingers and hoped that everything worked. So I'm gonna encourage you to be scrappy and save money. You don't need to spend a ton of money, but if there is a part of the process that you are either not the expert in or you think that it's gonna kind of be very clunky and not an enjoyable experience for either your students or the people that you're launching to, then spend a little money, loosen up the purse strings just a little bit, and invest in those tools and resources that will help you get further faster. So I want you to comment below and tell me, what kind of consumer are you? Do you tend to be very frugal in everything that you do for your podcast or your online business? Or do you tend to really invest right up front and get the best tools, the best services, everything out there? I'm really curious. So tell me in the comments below, either put frugal or investor, because I want to know what type of personalities we have here and the different types of people that are represented in this audience. Okay, let's get back to the video. So the fourth way that I messed up whenever I first launched my digital course was I wasn't talking to an audience I really wanted to serve. Now, my audience back then, so this was the fall of 2018 when I launched my first course, it was very general. I wanted to speak to anyone who ever thought about creating a podcast. But as it turns out, I am really passionate about speaking to entrepreneurs and people that want to have a podcast as the marketing arm of their business or the centerpiece of their business that they use to monetize and create revenue and grow a team around and all the things. So these are the type of people I really love to talk to. Not all podcasters, because there are hobby podcasters and people that just want to do it for fun. They have no desire in growing their audience or establishing themselves as an expert in their field. They just want to podcast because they love to podcast. Don't get me wrong, I love those people because I love to podcast too, but I really focus in on those people that are looking to monetize their podcast or grow the revenue for their existing business. So that's something that I learned, and I think it's one of those things that it's kind of a growing pain and a lessons learned that I had to go through in order to get to where I am now with a very focused audience that I love to serve, and I love to show up every week creating content specifically for entrepreneurs. Okay, we are to the final way that I messed up when I first created my digital course, and that is I wanted to move on immediately after the launch was over. And I don't feel very proud admitting that because it feels like something that I should like keep inside and not share with anybody else, because as soon as the launch was over and I didn't get thousands of students and I didn't have hundreds and thousands of dollars to say, yes, like I made so much money, oh my gosh, I was a little ashamed after my first launch. I only had 6 students One of them was my mom. And I made just a little under $250 on my very first launch because I didn't really know what I was doing. At the end of the day, that's really what it comes down to. And this is why, going back to my mentor, Amy Porterfield, I heavily rely on the knowledge and the skills that she has, because ever since I went through her program, Digital Course Academy, you can find more information about it below this video, but I went through her Digital Course Academy in 2019 and learned so many things that I was doing wrong. Like, all the things that I listed here today have been circumstances that I have gone on to learn from, because yes, I did them wrong way back then, but now I know the right way to do things. It's like I was kind of lost in the jungle, and Amy helped set me on the right path to eventually have success with my digital course. So I'm grateful for the lessons I learned whenever I did it all on my own. I bootstrapped it. I was trying to just figure it out, because that gave me the momentum I needed to keep going and to keep learning and to try to get better and better with every single launch of my digital course. So I'm going to encourage you to check out the resources that Amy has below. She has a fantastic quiz for entrepreneurs to see if a digital course is right for you. She has the Ultimate Course Creation Starter Kit. That's a PDF guide that walks you through 3 important decisions that every course creator has to make. And I highly encourage you, go check out the video that Amy and I had, because if you're brand new to her, maybe you just want to know who she is and what she's all about. So I encourage you to go check out those resources listed below the video. And if you're watching this in real time, then I highly encourage you to get on the Digital Course Academy waitlist for the September 2020 launch. It's going to be amazing. I cannot wait, because Amy has some really fun bonuses and great strategies that she's implemented in this new program, and I am so excited to share those with you very soon. But that's all I have for you today. So I hope that you learned something about ways that I messed up my very first digital course, so you don't make the same mistakes. Make sure that you give us a thumbs up and subscribe below if you haven't already. And be sure to check out these other podcasting videos right here that are filled with tools, strategies, and resources to help you take your podcast further faster. But remember, keep it up. We all have to start somewhere.